What's going on, YouTube? Gonna do something different. Probably one of my quicker videos. Had a couple people forum. I posted some of my signs that I've been making with my CNC machine, doing bead carving on it and painting it. And people are asking me good questions, trying to figure out how I get it. They're thinking I paint it by brush, maybe, I don't know. So I told them I'd make a quick video. Throw it up on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna throw it up on that forum and probably a couple of the other ones just so people can see what I'm doing. The one that got all the attention was that one right there. A lot of people, they're talking about aura mask and all this. I've tried the aura mask. It works. It's a little on the pricey side. Pretty much just going to run down through this. I'm going to show you on the computer my file, how I set it up, what I do with the board. Just give you guys a step-by-step kind of, so to speak. Just so everybody can utilize the video, see the video, and maybe learn something from the video, or maybe even start doing theirs that way so they can get the same results. So basic setups, I just use the Krylon Max. It's a little on the thick side, but it's good stuff. Got a 90-degree V-bit for the CNC. 80 grit Gator sandpaper. My wife got me this. It works way better than these from Lowe's. The ones from Lowe's, to do a sand a sign down like that, when you see it, I would literally go through 3 to 4 pads to sand off the overspray. These Gators, I literally use one. So got the orbital sander, got a drill to drill the holes for the handles, box extra handles I've got here, and then the polyacrylic, regular masking tape, paper towel, and rubber gloves, which I don't have. But these here are all done they're all done the exact same way, and I've got a couple more over here. So like I got this one, got the Merry Christmas one, got Ho Ho Ho. They're all done the same. I literally take a 1x12, 2 coats of polyurethane on it. I'll try to get over to my board. I've already got it set. So I've got this board here. It's got 2 coats of polyurethane on it. It's dried. It's been dry now for hours. But when I get into spray painting that, I'm going to utilize the space heater just to dry it so I can try to get this project done. Literally, these signs, if you do it right, literally this is going to take about a half an hour to cut out on the CNC machine. It'll come off the CNC. I'll sand the edges real quick to get the tabs off of it. I'll start sanding the face of it lightly, just to give the tape a good surface to adhere to. And when I say light, it's 1000 grit. And then I'll start spray painting it. But we'll get things set up. I'll bring you over to the computer, show you the file, and we'll get things rolling. Alright, so we're over here at the computer. I got it set up to initialize the machine, so I'm going to connect it. Then we're going to initialize it. It's going to do its thing. Everybody that uses the Shapeoko knows it's going to go to the back far right corner, get everything calibrated. Then it's going to come to the front. I have a bit setter over there and way over there. So it detects the height of the bit. So it's going to do its routine. It'll come to the front, tell me to change bits, which I will change to the 90-degree bit, and then that way it'll center off of that. So when I set my stock up, it's easier for me to find the exact corner. So get you guys set up and we'll do that. I always put a rag underneath here because on these XXLs, when you take these bits out, they tend to drop. And when they drop, if they hit something hard, it will ruin the bit. The other thing that I do, this little nut here, I'm going to try to get it off without disturbing it. So if you look inside there, you can see all that sawdust. I give it a good bang, get rid of all that sawdust. And then I'll put it all back together. Put my V-groove bit, 90 degree. Now I'll just give it a good snugging. Knocking that sawdust off of there, I used to not do that, and it allowed the rounding than a 1/4 inch end mill going through plywood or pine, and then going from taking about 1/4 of an inch to taking almost an inch. It's an eerie noise. So now that that's all set, I've inserted the tool. I'll hit resume, and it's going to take off. And we come down, and it'll find 0. Now that it knows how deep the bit is, we'll load up the file. I'll get the stock in place and we'll get things rolling. Alright, so I'll turn you sideways, probably turn you the wrong way, but that's the file. It's all loaded into in the Carbide Create. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Carbide Motion. I'm going to grab, load the file. I'm going to pick, I've called it the Santa tray. Real hard. It's going to load it up. I'm going to hit load file or load tool. It's going to tell me to insert the bit number 301 90-degree V-bit. I'll hit resume. It's going to do its calibration again. I always do that just to make sure that the bit is zeroed out and the tool that I'm starting with is the right one. I always try to put the bit that I'm starting with in first. Just way easier. So once that's done, it'll return back over to center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to here and hit jog. I'm going to do rapid position. And I'm going to take it all the way to the back. So that way I can get my board on there and I can get it clamped down, get it somewhat square. When I set mine up, I made sure that this edge was square to my my axis. That way I can literally, as long as my cut is square, I can line it up with this edge. And 90% of my projects are always about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch smaller than the board. So even if I'm off a little bit, it still cuts fine. So I'm going to set you guys up on the side. We're going to get the camera set up in a safe spot. I don't know where. But we'll get the board clamped down, get everything zeroed, and we'll get this thing cutting. So the clamp system that I use, nothing basic. It's just a piece of 1x. Got a countersunk hole in it. It's got a bevel on it. I put 4 of them on there. And the reason I do it is that reason right there. If that was a metal clamp, it would have ruined my bit. So I just snugged it up against that, so that way when I put this one down, I can make sure that it's flush. And it should put enough pressure on it to where it'll lock it down in place. And then I'll do the same thing up at the other end. One of the advantages of using these clamps is it doesn't protrude up at all, but because of the bevel, it's got to pinch together. So now what I'll do is it's got the rapid current. That's going to take me back to where my 0 was on my last cut. So I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, it should be about in this area somewhere. No, I'm off. So now what I'll do is I'll move the bit and everything down. I'll find my corner where I want it to start and the Z depth, get that all set. We'll load the profile and we're going to start cutting. So now my Y I know is right here on the edge. So I'm going to run it up to the other end of the board, roughly about where I know it's going to be the end of the Santa tray. I'm going to look to see that it's somewhere in the ballpark, which it is. So now I'll bring it all the way back here, and I'll zero my X and my X and Y. Now that's set, I'll load up the profile, which I believe I already did. After I find my mouse. So we'll go back over to run. It's already set. This is going to take 32 minutes to cut. So I'm going to go ahead, hit start job. I'll start. It's going to come up here. It's going to come to the front. Again, it's going to ask me to install the V-bit, which is already in there. Hit start. It's going to go ahead and calibrate, get everything set, and then it'll come back up center. I'll kick on the dust collection with my lovely pool hose dust collection system, and we'll get it cutting. I'll probably put you up there for a little bit of time lapse, but I'm not gonna let it run the whole time. If you own a CNC, you know what this is all about. So we'll get this show on the road. Okay, so it's all cut out. Had the bit move a little bit on me. I guess it just didn't tighten it down or clean it out enough. So I had to readjust it mid-cut. So it didn't cut all the way through on two of the sides. So I've got a little multi-tool. I'm just gonna run around it real quick, then I'll take it over to the orbital drum sander, clean up the edges, and we'll get to painting. All right, so as you saw, popped it off. It's got all the extra left on it. I'm gonna flip it over because if you can see, if I get a light, right there, it's just about all the way through. So if I put the 80 grit on the palm sander and just sand the back of it, it actually sands it down to that cutout and the pieces just fall off. So I'll get you guys set up and we'll get that rock and rolling. So now we'll go over to the orbital drum sander, take care of the little tabs, and we'll just sand up the edges real quick. And probably won't record that because I don't really want to get the stand out and set it up just for 2 seconds of sanding. So we'll come back to when I'm getting ready to tape it up. Alright, so on the last one, let's take a stroll around to that side. So on the last one I did the carrot orange, ears green, this red, the rest of it in black. Then I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do the Dear Santa and the love in red. Then I'm going to do the carrot the same way. I'd like to do I may do the greens of the carrot in green. I might change it up so that way the outline of the carrot is all in black. Just makes it stand out more. So we'll start getting things taped up. I will go with the orange and the reds first. Then we'll put it in front of the space heater, get it to dry, peel the tape off the green, do the green, let that dry, and then we will get ready to do the black. Nothing fancy, just 2-inch tape. The biggest thing is you don't want to, what I've found, I shouldn't say you don't want to, but what I've found is I don't need to soak it with a lot of paint. One, it allows it to dry quicker, especially underneath the heating lamp or my space heater. And two, it puts less paint on the surface. So one, it's easier to sand off. Two, it doesn't clog up the pores or the sanding disc, so that way it just goes easier. So shut you guys off. I'm going to put this in front of the space heater. We'll get it to dry. Then we're going to mask off the orange and the green. We'll get that underneath the dryer and move on to the black. So now the red's dry. So now I'm going to yank all the tape off and I'll get it set up for just the orange on the one side there. So that way that's painted. Then we'll get it under the dryer. We'll dry it. Then we'll do the green. Dry it. Then we'll do the black. So here we go. Alright, so that's underneath the heat, it's pretty much dried. I'm doing this a little bit quicker than normal. I would let that normally sit for a good solid 2 hours, probably in the sunlight. That's usually what I use, but I'm trying to do a video for you for the night, so I'm just using a space heater. So now what I'll do is I'll get everything masked off. I'll get you in close to the carrot, so that way you can see the way I do it, so the black shows up. So other than my creaky chair, we'll get you guys propped up. We'll start getting things taped off, and I'll try to zoom in onto the carrot when I start doing the carrot. Alright, so I let it dry a little bit. It's dry to the touch. So now we're going to start peeling the tape off. So now I got the new 60 or 80 grit on the palm sander. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to try to sand it. I'm going to see, because it's still somewhat wet. It's not tacky, but it may gum up the sanding pad a little more than what I said earlier. But if it's fully dry, it won't clog it up. So we'll get you set up behind, and we'll get to sanding. So I'm going to switch pads. It's not dirty at all. Got a little bit of paint stuck to it. I'm going to get a new pad on it, so that way when I come up to the carrot, I'm going to come up just to the edge of the paint, or to the tape. It might be hard for you to see, but I'm going to just barely come up to the edge. That way I don't disturb the tape. Helps protect the orange. If I bump it a little bit, I bump it. Alright, so this paint isn't dry. That's why you see it gumming up here, over here, at the top. So, I'm going to shut the camera off, using pretty much orbital sander, detail sander. I'll work at it, and once I get it all sanded down good, I'll bring you guys back. Alright, now I'm back and battery charge up, memory card emptied. So you saw me, I think you might have saw me, just drawing a line, found the center from this corner to this corner, and from the center, the handles that I've got, they're a 3-inch handle. So off my center mark, 1.5" both ways. Got the drill. I'll drill these, get them set. I'll make sure that the screws fit and the handle fits before I start staining it. Once I stain it, I'll then put the handle on, flip it over, stain the back side. As far as this here, I got thinking about it while I was doing the unloading this video card and charging the battery on the camera a little bit. More than likely, I'm going to sand that down, and I'll make it look like the other one. I'll do the green around the where the leaves are. I'm not liking the way that looks. It's just, I can probably clean it up a little bit and do some touch-ups to it, but I'll see. But we'll get to getting these holes drilled. Okay, so I've gone over it. I sanded it down 180. Got 2 pieces of paper towel. Got a spare one to wipe off the excess. Rubber glove and the stain. And like I said, this is early American. So what I'll do is I'll fold the paper towel up. You guys are gonna bounce around a little bit, but I'll take the paper towel, fold it onto itself a couple of times, and then it just pretty much just get some stain on it. Kind of wring it out a little bit. And I'm not even doing it on camera. Pretty much just going around the edges, trying to use up some of the excess. And with it being the black, you can go right over the top of it. It's not going to hurt it any. So then when I get to the red letters and the orange letters, or the orange carrot, I just come right up along the edge. You can go over it as long as you keep the paper towel tight. It's not going to get down in there. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that my biggest thing, I make sure that the paper towel is flat. Just so that way it won't fall down into the hole. Or into the V-carving, I mean. See, like I can go right over the top of it. It's not going to hurt it any. You know, come up, catch this side. And again, just get the can of stain out of the way. So I'm literally just going right over the top of it. Barely putting any pressure on it. So now I'll hold you guys and spin this around. So when I get to this green, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. More than likely I'm going to redo this area, so I'm not overly worried about it. So once that's all set, I'll take the single towel and I'll just go over the whole entire thing, just taking off the excess. Trying to make sure that it's equal coverage. Like I got a little spot right there that I got to touch up. So I'll prop you guys up like so. So now that that's all done, I'll stand it up on the edge that's not stained. Try to get it so you can see what the hell I'm doing. So I'm gonna leave the screws out. I'm not gonna crank it right down tight because those screws will help hold it up off of the finished surface, so that way it's not affecting the finish. Now that I got the handles on, I can set it down. It's elevated, and I don't need to worry about getting anything on the face of it. Now I'll just give this a good rub down. And again, take the towel. And wipe it all down. Alright, so there's the two of them side by side. And you can see, I'm not a big fan of this all being green. I kind of like this better. It's more simplistic. So yeah, so I'll let those dry up. And like I said, we'll coat those all up with some polyurethane because I got the Bah Humbug, 'Tis the Season. I got a Ho 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 one. I got a Merry Christmas one, and then this one's got a lot of comments too. Naughty, nice, and not dried. So I'll get this video posted. Hope whoever needed the help with it, hope they found it on the forums. Hope they can use somewhat of the same techniques other than those leaves. Really not a big fan. More than likely I'll sand it down and make it look like this one. So again, appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully it helped you. Just remember, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help me out a little bit, and we'll see what we make next. All right? Thanks, guys.